TV is with Dr. Margaret Aranda, and this is a very special night for Dr. Aranda. I have been talking to her, it seems like about 6 months, and we've become friends. Dr. Aranda, what did you want to share with the Dundalk TV viewers and also your viewers?
Thank you very much, Scott, for having me on. Definitely today is a very special day. I think there were a lot of us that never thought that this would happen. As you know, just briefly, my daughter and I were in a very tragic car accident together 12 years ago. She was only 3 and she's fine. But, you know, life was really hard. I had a traumatic brain injury. I recovered from that. Then I had another one. Then I recovered from that. And then I went through some hard times. Yes, you have an active license to practice medicine in the state of California.
I couldn't be any happier for you, and as a traumatic brain injury survivor, I just know how hard it had to be for you to go through that journey and climb your way back up to where you are. So I couldn't be any happier for you. I am also happy that I've asked you to be my doctor, and to finally have a doctor that understands traumatic brain injury is amazing for me. So I'm delighted to have a doctor that finally understands what is going on, that actually can help me and will understand the problems that I have.
The word for that, and that is empathy.
Well, the word I would use after 10 years is phenomenal. So yeah. I am absolutely delighted. You are such a nice person. You are very caring, and even when you weren't holding a current license, you were still doing a lot online to help people. And you've written books, and your newest book is.
Yeah, thank you. It is called The Rebel Patient. I didn't know I was a rebel when I was a patient for all those years. Yeah, The Rebel Patient is going to be freely available as an ebook too, and it teaches patients how to become more professional, especially those of us that need to keep going back to the same doctor, or we need to start thinking about getting referrals or tests or consults, or, you know, what else can you do?
Aranda, one of the things that you like to look into and help people with is invisible illnesses.
And I go over that in my book too, because 1 out of every 10 to 20 diagnoses are wrong in the United States.
Well, I think with traumatic brain injuries, it's probably a lot higher. By
had a series of invisible illnesses that were not extremely visible, but they caused me a lot of disability. And even today, when I park in the disability parking spot, if I drive and I'm by myself and I get out of the driver's seat and start walking, I've had people yell at me because they think I'm not disabled. They have no idea what I had to go through to get in the car, you know, to make it that far or make it to the parking lot. But that's because I have dysautonomia, you know, and I have, you know, other things that you can't see. I was in a wheelchair for 3 years. I used a walker for 3 more years, and then a cane. So people treated me differently when I was in a wheelchair. It was a lot easier. People were nicer.
Would you tell us about the accident? Because you told me that you, or told us, that you were in an accident.
You know, I was fine. I went home. You know, I drove my car home, my truck home, and the next morning I took it to the shop, and the rear axle was broken, and they were like yelling at me saying, well, how could you drive it here? I'm like, it was fine. Like, no, lady, you shouldn't have been able to make it here.
So you were functioning after that, and you were kind of doing some things. So then it was started to progress after that.
That's right. It took about a month, I think, for it to declare itself. Other people knew that there was something wrong with me more than I did myself, and but gradually I got worse and worse. I started to forget things. I lost my direction once, which I never do. So I knew something was wrong and I was worried about it. So, yeah, we just started seeing doctor after doctor. They didn't know what was wrong, or I could tell they didn't know, or they didn't want to tell me, but I didn't want to waste my time. I was so tired and so drained. So I just learned the system as a patient really fast because I forced myself to get up and go to another doctor. Like it felt like every single day until I could find somebody that knew something about what I could have.
Okay, and I have been through the same experience. And the first show that I wanted to do with you and an interview, this one right here, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this. And then I wanted to say, I wanted to know what you thought about the misdiagnosis. So you actually went through that. I've gone through 10 years of that basically. I mean, there have been a couple of doctors that kind of understood it, but and thank goodness a Social Security doctor did understand it. That's my lifeline right now. But I was hurt on the job, and workers' compensation hasn't gotten it for 10 years. So I would like to talk about this a little bit more in the future, but I also want to give you just a moment to share anything else you would like to, and also talk about us doing a show together as well.
Oh, that's perfect. Yes. Regarding a show together, I would love to do that. Brain injury is a big, important thing to me, especially because, as luck would have it, or the way things work sometimes in life, is my first medical journal article that I was named as a publisher in, because as a writer in, the publisher posted it as a rapid communication in the journal Neurosurgery, and it was on traumatic brain injury of all things, and then I ended up getting one. So yeah, I think you and I have had a lot of interesting conversations about having a brain injury, and when I think those of us that have anything like this, we feel differently when we're talking to somebody who has what we have, and that's what social media does. I think you'll admit, especially with Global Brain Injury Association, that just putting yourself out there a little bit goes a long way.
Well, I'm trying. I'm reaching out to people, and I want to make it a team effort and just move forward on bringing an undeniable awareness to traumatic brain injuries globally. But the one unique part that I like about you and I is there's some things that we both have a passion not only to help people with brain injuries, but we want to help people that suffer. So anybody's out there suffering and trying to find a way to help themselves, find resources, trying to figure out what's going on, and trying to find somebody that understands and cares. I feel that you and I both have that special quality that we want to do that for people that are out there that are struggling and need someone that cares.
Yes, and you brought up a good point in your question earlier with regard to misdiagnosis. I had some misdiagnoses, but most of the time I think I was undiagnosed.
Anybody that has questions, you can submit them to dundalktv@gmail.com. We will share those questions with Dr. Aranda, and she'll be answering them for you. And congratulations, Dr. Aranda. Just couldn't be any happier. Just really appreciate your friendship. It's gone a long way to have a doctor that understands what's going on. So thank you for that. I'm very excited about doing this show together.
Me too. Thank you so much, Scott. And I want to thank all my social media friends and my doctors for getting me up and going. And I really can honestly say, this seems like for the first time in a long time, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow.